I've already made mention a couple of times of Roman concrete, so let's look at it a little bit. Roman concrete is a mix of volcanic ash, lime, and then, of course, gravel or aggregate and water. And this is used throughout ancient Rome, famously at the Pantheon, but also almost every structure that we look at. What makes it particularly strong is the use of volcanic ash, which is coming from the site of a former supervolcano not that far from Rome in central Italy. They take that concrete and they will mix it with brick and stone, oftentimes brick, and this allows them to move very, very quickly. The advantage of concrete is, amongst other things, that it is fast to work with. And they would use this material to fill, and then they would line it with brick. So they would pour the concrete in with the aggregate, and then they would push the bricks into it, creating a wall, which would then be covered with marble or limestone or some other material, just to hide it. You don't want people seeing concrete, or at least the Romans didn't. It's not like walking into Walmart today with their polished concrete floors, which are apparently a thing. So why concrete? Why not build like the Greeks or others with stone? Well, first of all, concrete is plastic, meaning that it is easily shaped or molded to just about any form, which means as long as you can build a mold, you can create something with concrete, as we've discovered from DIY videos on YouTube. It's also inexpensive, so concrete is far cheaper than cutting stone, moving stone. It takes less skill to work with. And so this means that they can create more epic buildings faster and cheaper. It's the same reason we use it today for things like the Fiserv Forum, American Family, formerly known as Miller Park, and all of that. It's also fast to work with. For them, they're building up those stone walls around the concrete infill. For us, we use molds, but it's basically the same thing. By the way, the Romans use molds as well. For example, the ceiling of the Pantheon, very famously, is typically molded. And these are exactly the same reasons. The fact that it's flexible or plastic, that it can be used in any shape. The fact that it's inexpensive, the fact that it's quick, is why we use it so often today. Because you can build a structure in a couple of years that would have taken 20 years in previous generations if you were cutting stone. So by cutting down those labor costs, in other words, we don't need the skilled labor, by being plastic, by being inexpensive, by being quick to work with, concrete becomes the ideal building material. And we don't recreate the Roman recipe for concrete until the middle of the 19th century. We just don't understand it. And the other interesting thing about Roman concrete is around saltwater, it actually gets stronger, in part because of an interaction between the concrete, the ash in the concrete, and the salt in the water, but that's a whole different story.